Welcome to a live 2020 fantasy football draft. This is not a mock draft. This is actually a real draft that I'm doing with Jacob Camenker and Charlie Campbell, some other guys from walterfootball.com. I think Kenny's on here too. I should have sent him an invite to this, but yeah, Jacob from the Sporting News. Jacob, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm excited to draft, make up for the mistakes that I made last night. Passing on Fournette a little bit too far, and ending up with two main Dolphins receivers too.
Really? I assume Parker and then Preston Williams.
Yep.
So yeah, this is on NFL.com, which I'm not a big fan of. I don't even know how to see which players are taken, unfortunately.
There's a board option, yeah.
There we go. All right, so McCaffrey, Barkley, Elliott, I guess that's chalk. You're drafting out of the 8 spot. I am 10. Looks like Kenny's 9. It's for some reason Kenny's always in front of me. Anything you're looking for out of the 8 slot?
Yeah, I want to get a good running back, and I'm kind of hoping that Josh Jacobs will be on the board. He's probably my favorite of the running backs that I think have a shot at making it to me. So it all depends on what Dennis is about to do here at the 7th spot. If he takes Jacobs, I'll probably go in another direction because Thomas will be on the board. So I'll have to choose between receiver early, which I don't like, and running back, which I would much prefer.
Yeah, Dennis, our web developer, so he's in charge of like all the maintaining the site, but also like creating the contest. Like he created the Survivor Pool and the NFL mock draft contest. So he does a lot of great work behind the scenes. So we'll see what he comes up with. He has access to our rankings. So yeah, I think pretty much chalk so far. Like I'm not a big fan of Cook or Henry, but they've been going in this range in most mock drafts. So no surprise yet. I wonder if, first of all, I wonder if Dennis is even on. Second, I wonder if Dennis is going to give us a surprise pick here. But I think if he's going according to the rankings, it's going to be Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, no, he makes the most sense here. He's going to be the lead back in Oakland. He has a chance to catch a lot of passes depending on how Lynn Bowden is ready or if he isn't ready. I just think Jacobs is a safe bet to produce. If he comes off the board, I'm probably picking between Mike Thomas and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So we'll see what ends up happening, but I think he's about to clock out and take Thomas. So
or Nick Chubb.
Oh, Nick Chubb, yeah. All right, there we go. Okay, well, that makes my decision easy, though. I'm going to go with Josh Jacobs. Got to figure out how to draft him. All right, there we go. That was a little bit more complicated than I thought it was going to be. But, yeah, no, I'm just a fan of Josh Jacobs, having him as the lead back. I have a lot of shares of him in best ball, too. I just think he's going to be good this year. So why not take him at this point? 8th overall, like he's probably my 5th best running back in this draft.
So, yeah, I love Josh Jacobs. I have him at 16-1 to win the rushing title this year. So I'm definitely on board with that. Should mention, I don't think I mentioned it. This is a 2 running back, 2 receiver, no PPR. Has a flex. So let's see here. I like, let's go to running backs. Edwards-Helaire is available, which is interesting. I don't have him any. Well, I should say, I almost said I don't have him in any league, but I've only drafted 1 league so far. So this is the 2nd league. I love Joe Mixon this year. I ended up with him in the other league that I'm in that we did a review of on the channel. So you can check that out. I think Mixon's going to be outstanding this year. And then Aaron Jones, I didn't get him. Dave got him. So he reviewed why he liked Aaron Jones a lot. So I'm going to take Aaron Jones, Joe Mixon. I know Kenny likes Joe Mixon, so hopefully he's not too upset.
Yeah, and hopefully Kenny doesn't pick Clyde Edwards-Helaire because Kenny has soured on him, but I want Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Josh Jacobs. If I can get both of them, I mean, then I get the high floor Jacobs and the high ceiling of Edwards-Helaire, and that would be a really nice way to start this draft. And this is also a 10-person league for people watching, so that's why we have the quicker turn in case you're thinking it's 12 teams here.
Yeah, quick turn. So, yeah, I mean, there's a report saying that Edwards-Helaire and Daryl Williams were going to split carries in the opening game. I think that could be the case. I don't think the Chiefs are lying about that, but I think as the season progresses, Edwards-Helaire is going to get so many more carries and touches. I'm not worried about it, but I think it's worth noting because if you're going to play the showdown on DraftKings, Daryl Williams, I remember seeing, was like super cheap. So you could just plug him in as one of your 6 spots, and you can get a lot of other good players in. So it looks like you're on the clock. Kenny took Miles Sanders.
Yeah, and I'm going to take Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I figured Kenny wasn't going to take Edwards-Helaire because he had kind of soured on him late. I like the pick of Sanders, though. I think Sanders is going to have a good year. I get the point about Daryl Williams and splitting carries, but my philosophy with rookie running backs always, every single year, if you take a rookie, you're not banking on them being the starter right away. Like I took Deandre Swift in the 5th round of a league last night. And, he's been dealing with a leg injury and has missed like 9 or 10 days of practice recently. So he might not be the starter to start the season. But when we get to the middle of the season and maybe the end of it, when the fantasy playoffs start, that's when he's going to start taking over and really doing more. So that's what I'm banking on with Edwards-Helaire, is that eventually he's going to be the guy in that offense. Even if he splits carries with Daryl Williams earlier, that's fine. I can live with that for a little bit. But just as long as by the fantasy playoffs we're good, then I'll be in good shape.
Yeah, I think you will be. It's a great pick. I considered him at the turn, so to get him at number 13 overall, I think is kind of a steal there. Kenny Galladay just went, so I should say that it looks like Dennis, the aforementioned Dennis, is on auto draft, and so is Ryan. Ryan is our editor. So kind of disappointed that the Walter football staff is on auto draft. I don't understand why they're not on, but I definitely disapprove of Ryan's auto draft pick of Kenny and Drake. Drake is on near the top of my bust list, and we talked about how I don't like Kenny and Drake. You're more bullish on him, right?
I am, but like not to the extent that I would take him if all other options were off the board. Like Chris Carson just came off the board. I like Chris Carson more than Kenyon Drake because I think Carson has proven that he handles a full workload. And even when the Seahawks have tried to replace him in the past, he has been replaced. Eckler just came off the board. I think he's better than Drake too. This isn't PPR, so there's a little bit less there. So like Drake could carry the full workload, but he's also banged up right now. So I don't love him. I just like him more than you and Kenny do. But I don't like the Kenyon Drake pick. I think that could end up coming back to bite him, especially if Chase Edmonds gets carries early in the year and takes over the starting job.
Yeah. If you're wondering why my name is Lila on here, I actually wrote about it in the book. I pretended to, or at least I think I wrote it in the book. I pretended to be, there used to be a guy on the NFL.com message board. It's called Aaron3619. And he used to harass just women, just like ask for their pictures and stuff like that. So I pretended to be a woman named Lila, and I asked him for his pictures. So it was kind of, it was funny that way. I just never changed it back. So I missed the days where NFL.com had a message board rather than a Facebook chat thing. So that's the story behind Lila. I like it was a funny story. I'm pretty sure it's in the book. So if you want to read it, it's called The Safety in a Field Goal. It's on Amazon if you want to check it out. I know you read it. So anyway, so we're in the 3rd round now. George Kittle off the board as usual. I'm gonna criticize the tight end pick this early. I don't think you should take tight ends in the first 3 rounds. Maybe late 3rd round, but I think it's too early for Kittle.
Yeah, I think it's too early. I do like him coming off the board before Travis Kelce, though. I will say that. I know a lot of places have Kelce ranked as the top, but I just think Kittle doesn't have to compete for as many touches as Kelce will have to. Like Garoppolo may spread the ball around, but if Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk are hurt, who's he going to throw to? It's just George Kittle. So I like it from that standpoint, but I would not spend a 3rd round pick on a tight end, especially when the first 2 picks were Christian McCaffrey and Tyreek Hill, who was a great value, but I feel like you need another running back at that point just to shore things up a little bit. By the time it comes back around to Reggie again, it might be a little thin at the position.
Yeah, less so in a 10-teamer, but still, I think you should avoid taking tight ends this early. James Conner, another pick I don't like. The Steelers said they wanted to upgrade him, so if the Steelers don't like him, why would you draft him? It was the same thing with Lamar Miller a couple years ago when people were drafting Lamar Miller in like the 4th round or something. And we had gotten word from the Texans coaching staff that they didn't even like Lamar Miller. So my point on the site that I made repeatedly was, if they don't want to play Lamar Miller, why would you play Lamar Miller in your fantasy league? So it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. And like there have been good reports coming out about Benny Snell in the last couple of weeks that said like, oh, he might actually have like a role with the offense. And if that's the case, you could easily see Snell, who was a very talented runner in college, just struggled last year, taking over for Connor, who I think is in a contract year. And, you know, maybe the Steelers will try to trade him if they don't have a use for Connor, or, you know, we always have those surprise players who end up falling out of favor. And I feel like Connor's not a big surprise because you've been talking it up a ton about how the Steelers feel, but I feel like to the general public, it'll be a surprise if Connor, like week 3, is all of a sudden like demoted to like, 5 carries and he's the backup.
Yeah, his ADP is like 211, which is just way too early. If it was even 311, would be too early for Connor. And here he goes at 302, albeit in a 10-teamer. So, you know, if this were a 12-team league, this would be 210, which is kind of where he's going, and it's way too early. So the Claymore's on the clock. Yeah, that's Charlie. Okay, so Charlie took Cam Akers in the 3rd round. That's a surprise. What do you think about Cam Akers?
I'm not a huge fan of it because I don't like the Rams offensive line. I actually yelled at my father for taking Cam Akers in like the 4th round last night of a 12-team league. So I don't like it that early, but maybe Charlie knows something I don't. I am on the clock. I was honestly considering Patrick Mahomes because he was still on the board, but he just went. So I'm going to take instead the best receiver left by my numbers. That would be Mike Evans. He's not going before Chris Godwin in this draft because I won't let that happen. I just think Evans with Tom Brady. Evans is so consistent. He racks up a ton of yardage, and he's always catching touchdowns. Is what his big variant is year to year. But I think he should catch a ton of touchdowns with Brady in the fold now.
Yeah, I would say so. Quick word on Akers. You know, I agree that the offensive line is horrible. I like his talent though, and Charlie. To his credit, like he called out Darren Waller last year in our draft. Like he said that Waller would be a stud. And I think he did that before anyone else. So Charlie definitely has inside information. Wouldn't surprise me if he knows something about Akers. So may have to upgrade him a little bit in my rankings. So I'm on the clock right after Kenny. And I'm going to assume Kenny's not listening because I'm going to I was going to say what I was going to do. I guess it doesn't matter now because I had the 2 picks. So I think we're going to go running back again. Like if Mike Evans were available, you took him. I think I would consider that. So the other receivers, not like I feel like I can get someone of that caliber. I can get 2 of them in rounds 5 and 6. So I'm going to go running back, and let's go with the newest Buccaneer, Leonard Fournette. They still have, this is weird. NFL.com still has him as a free agent, which is just irresponsible. You know, I feel like NFL.com should be like on it before anyone else, you know? So Fournette, I feel like is going to be a big part of that offense. He should score a ton of touchdowns. Like Patriots running backs over the years with Brady scored like a billion touchdowns. Like remember LeGarrette Blount, like he would just score a ton. I feel like Fournette is going to be the same way. And Devin Singletary's another running back I like this year. You know, some fumbling issues in training camp, but I don't care. He's so talented. He's going to be on the field. So I went quad running back, which is a strategy we've been talking about over the summer, which is because running backs are so thin. I'm very confident in my running back core, and now I can concentrate on receivers going forward.
Yeah, to your Devin Singletary pick, I have to ask this because people have been talking up Zach Moss to me lately, and I don't understand. Oh, I'm on the clock. First, let me do that. Then I'm going to pose that question to you. I need another running back too. Looking at who's around, I probably need someone who's going to be a safe contributor. So I'm going to grab Melvin Gordon, which is something else I yelled at my dad for doing yesterday. So he's going to watch this and be like, hey, you did all the same things as me, but in a different draft. And then I'm going to be like, yeah, but I did it for a better reason. So, anyway, I like Melvin Gordon. He should find success in Denver. Philip Lindsay might steal some touches from him. So there are some concerns, but maybe I can handcuff him with Lindsay later.
Before we move on to that, like, why did you yell at your dad for the Gordon pick?
Because I wrote an article on Sporting News basically comparing Melvin Gordon and Philip Lindsay's stats. And like basically for fantasy sake, it looks like Philip Lindsay like would have the easier path to being a consistent producer, because Gordon's going to see a decline in receiving yards because he's just not going to have as many targets. And a lot of his success was predicated on scoring touchdowns in the red zone, Gordon, that is. But the Broncos like split up their red zone carries last year between Royce Freeman and Philip Lindsay, like consistently, despite Lindsay being better in that area. So I don't know if they're going to split it again, which could take away some of Gordon's value. So that's why I'm lower on Gordon than I was even just a week ago. But those concerns could end up being unfounded.
Yeah, and I feel like you have to draft running backs you don't like too much in this day and age of running backs being super scarce. So you're going to ask me about Singletary or Zach Moss?
Yeah, so people have been talking up Zach Moss to me, and then the fumbling thing comes out, and it's like, oh, Zach Moss has looked good at camp. So do you think there's any chance that Zach Moss ends up being the lead back over Devin Singletary? Because I tend to agree with you. I think Singletary is very talented, but Moss is getting a ton of buzz.
Yeah, I've heard that too. You can't dismiss anything. Like anything can happen, right? So, but I would put it at like 5 to 10%. I can't really see. I wasn't a big fan of Zach Moss coming out of Utah. I just thought he was just ordinary. And I get the buzz in training camp, but doesn't everyone get buzz at training camp? It just seems like the media always talks up everyone. So it's hard to say because we haven't seen any preseason games, but we know how talented Singletary is. So unless Singletary fumbles 3 times in the first game and then fumbles twice in the next game, like if that happens, then yeah, he's going to lose his job. But I think I'm pretty confident Singletary is going to keep his job. I have him in both leagues I'm in. Usually I'm in 6 leagues. I'm only in 2 because everyone's canceling their fantasy leagues for some reason. But yeah, I'm super confident in Singletary.
Okay, that's good to hear, because like I feel the same way as you do about Moss. Like I liked him okay in college, but I didn't think he was anything particularly special. I thought like, he might eventually turn into a starter, but I thought he was going to be a backup for sure. I think Singletary is just so explosive too. And maybe the whole fumbling thing's a wake up call of like, hey, like you got this guy breathing down your neck. You can't fumble. So maybe that'll kind of wake him up a little bit in that area.
Yeah, that's true. You can always fix it. Remember, some people might not remember because it was about a decade ago or even more. Tiki Barber used to have a huge fumbling problem. And the Giants would consider benching him in favor of the other running backs they had. But then Tom Coughlin came along and fixed Tiki Barber's fumbling problem. So, it's like you can't improve someone's speed, like that much, right? You can't improve their strength over a very short period of time, but you can improve the fumbling problem. Like if they're carrying the ball wrong, like if a coach sees what they're doing wrong, they can just fix it, and that can change. And then also we had last year where Chris Carson fumbled the ball a lot, and everyone thought, okay, they're going to go to Rashad Penny, but they never did. They stuck with Chris Carson. So it really depends on the coach. But yeah, like I said, I'm super confident in Singletary.
Okay, yeah. So in any case, that's a vote of confidence for him, and that makes me feel good. So yeah, I like that pick. I like the Bills in general as a team this year too. So I think that Singletary has sky high potential.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. The Bills seem like they should win the AFC East. I mean, you're in Patriot country, so you would. You'd know better, but I think that with all the opt-outs the Patriots have had, I think that gives the Bills an edge. Like if Hightower and Cannon, if none of them opted out, and Chung, none of them opted out, I think they could give the Bills a run in the AFC East, and I think it would be close as long as Cam Newton stayed healthy. But with everyone just opting out, it seems like they're so thin. Like who do they even have at linebacker at this point? So like I think the Bills are definitely the favorites now, right?
Yeah, the Bills are definitely the favorites. I think the Patriots' top linebacker is Jawan Bentley, who's not bad, but just hasn't gotten a lot of playing time because he's either been injured or behind other guys. They still have a great secondary, and I think their defensive line is on the up and up. But, they're missing that right tackle. That's the big one. Cannon's opt-out was huge for that reason. If they had been able to have like Dante Hightower and Cannon not opt out, I think the Patriots could still give the Bills a run for their money if they could stay relatively healthy. But I think the Bills just have better depth and are a more complete team, and they're well coached. That said, like for fantasy purposes, like Patriots defense, I still like because that secondary is good, and they played the Dolphins in week 1. So I'd recommend them in fantasy drafts. You can grab them.
Yeah, for sure. We're starting to see a run on receivers, which is not a surprise because most of the talented running backs are gone. Juju Smith-Schuster just went. You're up after Dennis, who looks like he's on. So apologies to Dennis for for criticizing Dennis and Ryan for not being on earlier. Looks like Dennis just went. He took Zach Ertz. So you're on the clock.
All right. Well, I'm going to snipe you, and I'm going to take Cortland Sutton here because I know he will not get past you and Kenny twice. But he's poised for a huge season. He's gonna be really good for Drew Lock. He'll be the number one target. And he's just improved with each year he's been in the league. And I just expect big things. And I think that Broncos offense with Jerry Jeudy, they're not going to be able to focus on Sutton as much. So getting him here in the 5th round, I think is a great value. And now I have him along with Mike Evans and a pretty solid running back group. So I'm pretty comfortable with my team at this point.
Yeah, it looks solid so far, and I imagine Kenny is very upset that Cortland Sutton's off the board when he's on the clock. If you didn't watch the fantasy football draft review that we did earlier this week, okay, touche, Kenny. He took DK Metcalf from me, so kind of revenge there. But I still like a number of receivers here for sure. So let's find one. The top receiver is kind of surprising that he's still available. Amari Cooper. I know he fades down the stretch, but he's super talented. Like he's still the number one in Dallas. It's an explosive offense. So I'm definitely a big fan of Cooper. So I'm going to take him. I'm fine with it. I would have taken Metcalf and Sutton if they were both available, but you guys sniped them away. Hopefully I can snipe someone away from you guys now. I know Kenny loves this guy. He was all over him last year. He drafted him late in our draft, Terry McLaurin. And when he did so, people kind of laughed. A couple people laughed. They're like, who's this guy? And then Kenny turned out to be a genius with that pick. So hopefully Kenny, after stealing Metcalf from me, is going to feel salty that I stole McLaurin away from him.
And I would have considered McLaurin at my pick too. So you're not quite stealing him from me because there are a handful of guys I rank similarly to him. But I will miss not having Terry McLaurin in any of the leagues I've drafted so far because I'm a big fan of him. One thing on Cooper, he's missed like 4 practices recently. It might be nothing, but there's just like very little information coming out about why that's happened. So it's more something to keep an eye on than anything else. I'm on the clock here. I think I'm going to go with Kareem Hunt at this point. I think if Nick Chubb goes down, or even if Nick Chubb is healthy, Kareem Hunt can play a big role in that offense as a pass catcher out of the backfield. He was on pace for 74 catches last year. And if Nick Chubb continues to be ineffective inside the 5, he had 15 carries for negative 14 yards and only 2 touchdowns in there. Hunt could become the goal line back. So I'm comfortable with him at this point as my 4th running back.
Yeah, he and another guy I won't mention. They're the 2 running backs I still like on the board. There's a third one who's fine. But yeah, running backs are super scarce. So I agree with your strategy of getting Hunt. If Chubb goes down, he's the third, not the third, but probably the 4th or the 5th pick in this draft, I think. Maybe I'm a little optimistic there, but I love Kareem Hunt, so I'm on board with that pick. I'm a little surprised that Kenny took Mark Ingram because he's been all over J.K. Dobbins. So I'm kind of surprised. I'd love to hear Kenny's take on why he took Ingram. Maybe he just had a change of heart or something. But I guess we'll find out. And Cooper Kupp just went. I don't like Cooper Kupp at all. He wasn't even on the field late in the year. Most times because the Rams had such blocking issues. So Kupp went. And then I mentioned that Charlie talked up Darren Waller last year and took him late in our draft. So no surprise that he took Waller. I guess Charlie's doubling down and have to trust his judgment on that.
Yeah, Charlie, you get emotional attachments to some of these guys, especially the sleepers who prove you right. I always have that. Like if Benny Snell breaks out this year, I'm going to be the biggest Benny Snell fan in the world because I have him in one of my leagues, got him in like the 15th round. So, anytime you can rub something in someone's face and be like, I knew this before you did it, that's part of the fun of fantasy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Like the late picks. Everyone remembers if you drafted someone late, and then some people are like, who, and then they turn out to be great. So definitely. The fact that I don't like tight ends this early, as we talked about, but I think Darren Waller's a little different. Like, I mean, he's obviously the tight end position, but he's kind of a receiver sort of for the Raiders. Like the way he plays. So he's not like super limited like most tight ends are. So I can definitely see that, especially, Charlie is he gets a lot of information from the Raiders. Like we usually nail their picks. So he might know something about Waller that we don't. So I could definitely see that panning out. Tyler Lockett just went. I was considering Lockett in with my 2 picks. But there's so many good. I think there are a lot of good receivers still left. So I'm not sweating it.
Yeah, I was considering Lockett too. If I hadn't taken Cortland Sutton and Mike Evans already, I probably would have taken it, but I just didn't want to risk missing out on like a 4th running back just in case one of my guys goes down. But Lockett's a great pick. He keeps going later than I think he should. Like, he's been around longer than Metcalf, so obviously he's more proven in that nature. But I keep seeing Metcalf go before Lockett, and I think that's fine because Metcalf has more upside. But I think Lockett's such a high floor player to like keep seeing him going in the 5th, 6th round range surprises me.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I love Metcalf. Like I'm all over Metcalf. I took him in the 3rd round of one of the leagues we did the draft review of. So I could definitely see Metcalf going way before Lockett. But I think Lockett is going too late, like you said. I feel like he should be going around earlier. And it sounds like the Seahawks are going to throw the ball more than they did in previous years. So I think that really bodes well for both of those receivers.
Yeah, no, I do too. And they just re-signed Josh Gordon today. And like, who knows if he gets reinstated or can do anything or can stay on the field. But if he can, and there's the 3 of them out there, they're all going to demand some sort of attention. So that may open up even more opportunities for the 2 of them on the outside, just because teams have to plan against what's going on with Gordon, wherever he may line up.
Yeah, and J.K. Dobbins just went off the board, so I wonder if Kenny's feeling salty about that. In our review, Kenny talked about how you should draft the guys you like and like not really rely on value as much, because if you really like a guy, you should just get him. And I'm definitely on board with that strategy. I think it's a good one, especially if people drafting in your league kind of might know what you're going to do. Kenny and I have done many mock drafts over the summer. So, these are people who either work for the site or are friends of the site. So I imagine they've watched at least one of our videos, so they might know what we want to do. So, I wonder. I'll have to ask Kenny afterward, like what he thinks about with the Dobbins situation.
Yeah, I'm interested in that too, because I don't know. Maybe Kenny felt he needed a high floor guy because he drafted Gurley. So like if Gurley goes down, maybe he's thinking like Mark Ingram's probably going to still get carries for the whole year, whereas like, say J.K. Dobbins struggles out of the game, maybe they like relegate him to behind Gus Edwards, and then who knows what happens. Like, I don't think that's going to happen, but it's at least possible. I don't think there's a scenario in which Ingram doesn't get any carries if he's healthy.
Yeah, you're probably right. But I think there is a chance that Ingram could just be worn down. He's getting up there in age, and what if he's just not effective? And in the middle of the year, if let's say the Ravens are struggling a bit, they're kind of underperforming, and they think that, hey, let's make a change. Let's just go to Dobbins. Let's give him 75% of the touches out of the backfield. Like I could see a scenario like that playing out.
Yeah, no, I guess I could see that happening. I guess you never know with running backs. They can really fall off a cliff at any moment, like especially Ingram's hitting 30, I think, this year. So at that point, with that many carries under his belt, anything's possible.
Yeah, for sure. I was just about to take Devontae Parker. Mike took him off the board. Charlie's on the clock now, so I'm interested to see what he's going to do. These last several picks, we've seen 3 quarterbacks go: Dak Prescott, Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray. I love Russell Wilson. So 7th round in a 10-teamer. a little early, but I'm okay with Russell Wilson. But I think the other quarterbacks chosen too early. I feel like you have to fill out your running backs and receivers. I've said it a billion times this summer. I played Eli Manning twice and then Daniel Jones in my fantasy playoffs last year, and I won the championship with that. I actually had Daniel Jones outscore Lamar Jackson in the finals. So I think quarterback is very easy to do matchups with, especially in a 10-team league because they're going to be more available.
Yeah, no, you're definitely right about that because I'm in a different 12-team league, and even I got Matt Ryan in the 11th round, and I'm totally set at quarterback. Could wait on it. I'm on the clock here, and I'm just going to take this guy because I don't think he should be on the board at this point. Deandre Swift. Now I have 2 rookie running backs, which is a risk, but Swift is extremely talented. And if not for a recent leg injury that's held him out of practice for like 9 or 10 sessions, he'd be going, I feel like, in the top 4 rounds in most mocks. But he managed to make it to me here.
This is a funny pick because Kenny loves Deontay Johnson. I like him a lot too. Kenny a little bit more than I do. So kind of, I wonder if Kenny's atoning for the Dobbins decision because if he waited on Deontay Johnson, I think someone may have taken him. So I don't know. Like I said, I'll have to talk to him afterward. So I'm going receiver again. Will Fuller is the number 1 receiver on the Texans. He has an injury history, but he's so explosive. And, if he's on the field, he can go off any week. And then AJ Green, he has a low floor because he can just get injured again. But he's a great receiver. Like we know how good he is when he's healthy. And if he could be healthy, he's going to be playing with a good quarterback for the first time in his career. So I'm kind of excited to see what we get out of Green this year.
Yeah, I'm somewhat excited to see what Green has to offer too. I am a little worried. I had him last year and he got hurt very early in the offseason, and I thought he was going to come back and he didn't. But I feel like this year where the Bengals, are more competitive, even if he does get banged up, he will come back. I think he's dealing with a hamstring right now. So those can be tricky, but it also might be extremely minor and he's a veteran, so they're just sitting him out. Like it's just hard to know at this point, but his ceiling is that of probably a high-end wide receiver too. So getting him in the 8th round is a steal.
Yeah, for sure. On your Swift pick, I love it. He kind of stood out to me there. I would have taken him if you didn't. So definitely a great pick in my opinion. And yeah, he has those, he's missed a few practices. I don't think it's a big deal. And we haven't seen him. Well, you're on the clock. I'll continue after you're done.
Yeah, so I'm going further down the board. Deebo Samuel's still available, and I was going to take him last night, but he got stolen from me from someone else. It was my dad again. He evidently he did a lot to annoy me last night, but he built a good team, so I can't complain. But yeah, I mean, Samuel, once he's healthy, he could end up being a wide receiver too also. So getting him at this point is a great value. And, he may not miss as much time as people are thinking at this point.
Yeah. I think I'd say week 3 is probably the safest estimation for when he'll return. Maybe even week 2. So I think he'll be back. And if you don't have to start him right away, I think that's great. If he were healthy, he'd be going late 3rd, early 4th in a 12-team league. So to get him in the 8th round is, I think, is a great bargain. I was considering him if one of Fuller or Green were off the board. I would have taken Samuel for sure. So definitely a great pick, in my opinion. With Swift, going back to Swift for a second, we haven't seen any preseason games because there haven't been any. Usually that's when the rookie running backs get so much hype. Remember that one week where Darius Geis had that great game and everyone was talking him up, and that sort of buzz is gone this year because we haven't had preseason. So if Swift were healthy and had a great preseason game, which I'm sure he would have because he's so talented, he wouldn't be going in the 5th round of 12-team leagues or 7th round of 10-team leagues. He'd be maybe a 2nd round pick, maybe a 3rd round pick. So definitely great value there with Swift, I think.
Yeah, that makes me feel a little better because I landed him in the 5th round of my draft last night. But Fournette was still on the board, and I was considering Fournette, but wanted to go with someone with more upside in some ways because Fournette hadn't officially signed yet, so I was worried he was going to end up in a Falcons or backfield, or like maybe would end up with the Steelers and they would rotate carries. Obviously, I think with the Bucks, he's going to be the lead back there. But yeah, to anyone drafting now, I would not be afraid to take Deandre Swift, even with the injury stuff. Like, try to wait on him if you can, but like if you're in the 5th round, you're like, I like him a lot, just go for it, because I think he's going to turn into a really good player. And whether or not that's like in September or October or November, he'll produce at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's way too good not to produce. So I'm on board with that. We had the 49ers pick, which Ryan is on auto draft, so I can't criticize him for making that pick. Definitely don't take a defense that early. Even if it's the 49ers, I always say this, like, there are 11 players on the defense, and if 2 of them go down, like 2 really good ones, like that defense is not nearly as good as it is. So like 2 out of 11 players going down is something that often happens. So keep that in mind. Also with the 49ers, they lost DeForest Buckner this offseason, who is one of the best defensive tackles in the NFL. So while that defense will still be good, and they could still be a top 10 fantasy defense for sure. I'm not saying that they won't. But I'm not sold on them being the number 1 defense this year with Buckner gone.
Yeah, I don't think that they necessarily will be. I think there are a lot of teams with weaker schedules than the 49ers too. Like, they play in a tough division, so they're going to have 6 really, really competitive games compared to, like, say the Colts, for example, who play in the AFC South. I think they're going to be better off. They have, I think, the weakest schedule in the NFL. And you can grab the Colts, who have 6 solid matchups off the bat, and then hit a bye week. So you can stream if they don't pan out. But at the very worst, like, you can use them week 1 against the Jaguars, and we're like, oh, I want a different team, pick them up. But usually, like, the Steelers of the world or the 49ers of the world aren't great early picks.
Yeah, you can. How about this? If you play in week 1 against the Jaguars and they get like 40 fantasy points because the Jaguars are a complete mess. Try to trade them.
Yeah.
So some person in your league might be like, "Oh, I'm getting the new great defense." Like, and I do like the Colts. Don't get me wrong. I think they can be a top 5 fantasy defense this year. But if you can trade your fantasy defense for anything, like any viable player, like definitely do it because you can just play matchups with defense.
I think I once traded for a fantasy defense. I traded for the Texans defense. This was a long time ago, and I'm pretty sure I traded Aaron Hernandez for the Texans defense. And that might be an all-time weirdest trade in my league's history, looking back, because the week I got the Texans defense was they scored -8 points that week. And then obviously everything that happened with Aaron Hernandez. So yeah, if you're going to make a trade for defense or anything, just like, try to get something for them, because anything is better than having a defense that scores -8.
That's definitely true. I made some dubious decisions earlier in my fantasy career too. When I was in like middle school, I had John Elway and Jeff Hostetler on my team, and this is back, dating myself here, but this is back before the internet existed. So like we had to phone in our lineup. So I had to call my friend Joel and submit my lineup Sunday morning. And I would like 1 week, Elway, obviously one of the greatest quarterbacks. So, but like 1 week I was like, I just saw the Raiders logo. I was like 13. I was like, saw the Raiders logo. I was like, I'm going to play Hostetler this week. and I was like, I want to start Hostetler. And Joel's like, what? I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. And then like Elway outscored Hostetler by like 25 points that week. It was miserable, but yeah, good times.
Yeah, when you're a teenager, you make decisions based off of like rash, like quick, like, oh yeah, no, I gotta start this dude because I like this logo. Like that's why I was better at March Madness when I was a kid, because I didn't know anything about the teams and tried not to. And I was just like, oh yeah, I like this team's name. That's cool.
Yeah, sometimes the logo pickers or the mascot pickers, they win. There is, you can argue you might be able to know too much, and it could hurt you if you overanalyze something. I'd rather know too much, but yeah, sometimes the ignorant people win, and it's a little frustrating when you put so much work into it. But that tends to happen in, especially when in high variance stuff like the NCAA tournament, where so many games come down to the wire. It's insane. So like, there's so many scenarios that could happen. So yeah, Charlie just took Drew Brees. Oh man, Ryan just took Harrison Butker, his auto draft again. So I'm not going to yell at Ryan for that. Picks are coming in quickly. Oh, you took Darius Slayton. You want to explain?
I knew one of your Kenny was going to take him. I wanted another receiver with a lot of upside. And I felt like I needed a receiver just in case I need to start someone over Sutton or Evans while Samuel's out. Slayton plays with the Giants, who are going to be really good against or good passing offense this year. So I think he's a good pickup and good sleeper at this point. And Kenny took a guy I was thinking about too, Marlon Mack. I mean, he plays behind the Colts offensive line and might start at least at the beginning of the year while Jonathan Taylor gets acclimated. So I like that pick at this point, but I needed a receiver more, so that's why I went with Slayton.
Yeah, I love Slayton. So you sniped another guy away from me. So that's a great pick, I think. I love Slayton this year. He's on top of my sleepers list. So I'm gonna go receiver again. So CeeDee Lamb is my top receiver, but I already have Amari Cooper, so I'm not going to go that route. And if I can type in Jackson, we can get the Deshaun Jackson on my roster. He's the ultimate upside guy. Like, he can go off for 5 catches, 130 yards, 2 touchdowns. Kind of had that sort of game against the Redskins in week 1 last year, and then he got hurt. If he can stay healthy, he's going to be a monster. So I definitely like Jackson. I'm going to go with another running back, my 5th running back here. So Ryko Armstead is the top running back on my roster, but even though he's probably going to start this year, although we don't really know, he has no upside at all. That Jaguar team is terrible. It's kind of like the Adrian Peterson pick. I'd rather go with someone with more upside as my fifth running back. And Alexander Madison has so much upside because if Dalvin Cook goes down, Madison is suddenly a low-end RB1. So, that's if you're following along with my cheat sheet, wondering what I'm doing, like, that's why I took Madison over both Armstead and Peterson.
Yeah, and it's a good exercise too to show people, like, hey, like, your cheat sheet obviously means something, but there's also, to an extent, you kind of have to go away from it to make certain selections that you're just confident in, even if, or depending on what your team needs more than anything else. I'm on the clock again here. I don't really have anything I need. I could get a quarterback or tight end, but I could wait because no one on the board stands out to me. So I'm just going to get one of my favorite dudes. I'm going to get James White. Like, this isn't a PPR league, so this pick isn't that inspiring, but I just kind of like James White as a guy. And the Patriots, they're desperate for receiving help. They have Julian Edelman and N'Keal Harry, who I said Jacoby Myers was better than last night in front of a lot of Patriots fans, and they got very angry. But N'Keal Harry's not very good, so James White's going to have to catch some passes out of the backfield, and who knows, maybe he becomes like the safety valve Christian McCaffrey type for Cam Newton, at least a poor man's version of that.
Yeah, well, sometimes you got to go with the guys you like, so definitely don't blame you for that. And Dennis kind of showing you up there. He took the other Patriot running back, Damian Harris, who I downgraded a little today, a couple hours ago. So I kind of feel bad if Dennis has downloaded my rankings from a couple hours ago before I updated. There's a report saying that Damian Harris has a pinky injury and he might miss a week 1 or maybe a couple weeks after that. So yeah, I think I'm off of Damian Harris right now. So pending better news. What do you think about you're in Patriots country? What do you think about Harris? And then Sony Michel just went to.
Yeah, I think Harris, he's going to be good when he gets on the field, but he might be off the field for the month to start the season. And, if Sony Michel or Rex Burkhead or even James White gets hot, Belichick's going to ride the hot hand. It's just what he does. He splits carries, and if someone's going well, he's going to ride them until they're not anymore. So I think probably if I had to rank the running backs in the Patriots core in terms of, like, James White's the safest pick because he's going to get receiving yards no matter what. Like, there's always a role for him. Then I think at the beginning of the year, you're going to have Sony Michel kind of take the reins as he has the past couple of years. And if he can stay healthy and run like he did as a rookie, then I think he stays in as the lead back. But if he doesn't, then I think when Damian Harris is healthy, he'll come in and be the lead back. And then you may get like Burkhead and Lamar Miller sprinkled in here and there. But I don't think they're going to be fantasy factors for the most part.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I mean, we know Bill Belichick's history with running backs. Jonas Gray had the game of his life. Like he had what was 260 yards and 4 touchdowns, like something insane like that. And then he never played again. Like, granted, he overslept practice, and I guess he should have invested in a better alarm clock. But yeah, he was never seen from again. And I have to imagine that Jonas Gray right now is selling women's shoes and saying that he scored 4 touchdowns in a single game. That's what I think he's doing right now, but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I feel bad for Jonas Gray too, because it was just like immediately that happened. And like, as someone who's like, I don't oversleep often, but I've done it like once or twice. Like sometimes you're just like, oh, I forgot to set my alarm, or oh my God, I turned off my alarm and fell back asleep by accident. Like,
Yeah.
But Belichick just does not tolerate anything like that. But Gray did get a chance. I think he was on the Jaguars at one point, but he just never like broke through, because I think he was just a product of the Patriots system there for running backs.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, there's a long history of Patriots churning out guys who don't do anything elsewhere. We've seen it with other teams. Like, remember the Mike Shanahan running backs who would be great, and then they'd go somewhere else and they do nothing. It's kind of sort of the same thing. Although it's like Shanahan was just running backs, whereas Patriots. We've seen Deion Branch, who won Super Bowl MVP, and then he went to Seattle and was very mediocre. It kind of happens all the time with numerous players. Speaking of Patriots, Julian Edelman just went, my fourth cousin, so have to approve that pick. And Tom Brady was chosen. There are a number of good quarterbacks still remaining, so I'm not sweating it out. You might notice I don't have a quarterback. I'm going to wait on quarterback. It's probably going to be take one this round, because I only have one bench spot left. So it's either going to be the bench spot and then a quarterback or a tight end. So kind of figure that out.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you. I've got one bench spot left, then quarterback, tight end, kicker. Oh, wait, is there kickers in this league? Yes, there is. Okay. I'm in one league that does not have kickers, and I'm trying to remember which one it is. It's definitely not my league, so it must be my Sporting News league. Yeah, so got to draft kicker.
Yeah, unfortunately. Although, Kenny and I had an argument. So Higbee just went. Higbee was going to be the tight end I was consider. There's another tight end I like too. Dallas Goedert was just chosen. Dennis didn't. I thought Dennis had Zach Ertz. Might be wrong. But if he took Zach Ertz and Goddard, I think that's a big mistake. So Carson Wentz just went. You just took Carson Wentz. Want to explain?
Yeah, I needed a quarterback, and of the guys on the board, I was between him and Josh Allen. I like Wentz more as a passer. Like, Allen has more rushing upside, but I just want Wentz in my lineup because he's got Deshaun Jackson. His receiving core should be better. JJ Arcega-Whiteside is doing better this offseason, so maybe he'll do something. I know the O-line's a little bit of a concern there, but we'll see what ends up happening. I just wanted a guy that I felt like I could trust, and I've always had Wentz on my team each of the past 3 years, and he's done well for me.
So Kenny ended up taking Armstead, which is a solid pick here. I would have considered him, if I thought he had a little more upside. But, you can make the argument that maybe I don't think this would be the case. But if you think the Jaguars won't be the worst team in the NFL, then I think Armstead would be a good pick. Chase Edmonds, I love Edmonds. He's one of my top sleepers. I'm not a believer in Kenny Drake. I think Edmonds, there's a chance that Edmonds takes the job away from Drake at some point. And Cliff Kingsbury even said that he thinks that Edmonds is a starting running back in the NFL. So I'm going to listen to Kingsbury, although it could just be coach speak. So I'm priced into taking my quarterback now. I'm going to pick Cam Newton because he plays the Dolphins in week 1. I'm going to play matchups with my quarterbacks. But if Cam Newton looks great, I'll consider keeping him and then still play matchups and use one of my bench spots for a quarterback if Newton's playing in a tough matchup.
Yeah, I think that's a smart way to do it. And Newton was officially named the starter. I mean, once they signed him, he was the starter. But, that's at least good to have that confirmation. And I think he'll do well in New England's offense. I'm kind of bummed because I was going to take Hunter Henry, and he just went. Kenny got that. That's got to be revenge for me taking Wentz because I'm imagining he wanted him probably. Knowing
we're sniping a lot of our picks in this draft right next to each other.
I definitely also took Wentz partially to make Kenny angry because I knew in my head that he probably wanted him. In that case, I'm going to put off taking a tight end. Christian Kirk is still on the board. I like him a lot this year. We were just talking about the Cardinals because you took Chase Edmonds, but that offense, it can produce 3 viable fantasy receivers, I think, with how Cliff Kingsbury runs things. So you're talking DeAndre Hopkins, Christian Kirk's the second best receiver in that offense. Larry Fitzgerald, nothing against him. He's just old at this point, and is more of a possession type guy who can't separate as much. So the upside exists with Kirk to be a deeper threat. So I like what he should be capable of for sure.
Yeah, that I like that pick a lot. It has way more upside than Fitzgerald would. And I mentioned Fitzgerald because he went like relatively early in a draft that Kenny and I did last week, which we reviewed, as I said. Yeah, if you're going to draft an Arizona receiver, definitely Kirk. If Hopkins is going to go early, but then Kirk. So yeah, we see Josh Allen. I assume that's Ryan. It might be Ryan's second quarterback because he's on auto draft. Yeah, Henry just went. I'm kind of surprised you didn't take the other tight end you like. I'm not going to mention him because someone might be listening and they might take him. Yeah, I mean Henry's definitely a great player. I just worry about that offense with Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod Taylor's so limited, and plus he scrambles. So like every time he runs, that's going to be a potential target that Hunter Henry's not going to get. So I'm really not that big on Henry this year, as although you and Kenny definitely are.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say I'm big on him, but I do like his potential. Also, Mike Gesicki went off the board. That was actually the tight end I was going to take there. I almost took Mike Gesicki in the draft I did last night, but I already had both Devontae Parker and Preston Williams on my team, which was not at all by design. And I didn't want the entire Miami passing offense, so I went in a different direction. But yeah, I like the Gesicki pick at this point. You've brought him up a number of times, and just how he'll be playing the slot in Chan Gailey's offense, and he should get a ton of targets. Like I think Ryan Fitzpatrick and Tua will like throwing to him.
You didn't want to go with the quad Dolphin stack and pick Ryan Fitzpatrick as well, or maybe even Tua. That didn't seem appealing to you.
I mean, I did have to think about it. The problem was I picked Devontae Parker in the 7th round because he was far and away the best player on the board, and I couldn't believe he was there. I didn't even really want him though. And then we got to the 10th round, and the guy picking in front of me was going to pick a receiver, or I thought he was going to pick a running back, and then he picked Deontay Johnson, and I was like just so thrown for a loop. And then all my other sleepers were just handcuffs to receivers I already had. It was a true nightmare. So yeah, if you're not sold on a guy, like I think Parker's really good and I got a good value, but like if it can mess with your draft strategy in ways you don't expect, because then it was like, oh yeah, Preston Williams. I'm like, oh wait, but I have Parker.
Yeah, it is rough to draft players on the same team. The kind of like I mentioned with CeeDee Lamb earlier, kind of why I avoided him with Amari Cooper on the team. Like, I think if you're kind of forced into it, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world if you really like a guy, like if he's way ahead of someone, the other people on the board. It's obviously not ideal, but what if you with the Lamb situation, I liked other receivers, but let's just say, for example, that there were no other good receivers I liked, and Lamb was just there. Like I would have taken Lamb. Like, what if Amari Cooper goes down with an injury, and then suddenly Lamb is looking a lot better? So I don't think it's a bad strategy necessarily.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad strategy. You just get into like the whole target cannibalization thing. Like, if Parker has a big game, Williams may not. Doesn't mean he won't, but he's less likely to have a big game. And then, if you're in a situation where they're the two dudes in your lineup, it's kind of like, oh man, this is kind of tough because now I need both of them to produce big games. But I much prefer running back handcuffs because one of them you can just leave on the bench. But I was fine with it. There was no one else I really wanted to take at that point besides Williams.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I don't think it's the worst to start two receivers on the same team if they have a great matchup. Like it's often a strategy you see in DFS where you pair a quarterback with two receivers for the upside. Obviously you have a lower floor if he only throws to one of those receivers, but if it's a great matchup, I think you can go that way. You just took Jack Doyle. Want to explain? Which I'm not surprised you took Doyle.
Well, Jack Doyle rules, man. That's why I took him. But yeah, no, he's one of my favorite sleeper tight ends. Like I've got him in the 13th round of every draft I've been doing. People are sleeping on the Colts a little bit as a team. Phillip Rivers loves to throw balls to his running backs out of the backfield, but he also loves to throw the tight end. And Frank Reich's offense is designed to be tight end heavy with 2 tight end sets. Doyle's the lead guy there. Eric Ebron's gone. He's competing with Trey Burton for targets, but I think Burton's banged up right now. So I think Doyle's going to be in for a big year, and the Colts have a really easy schedule out of the gate. So if he can become a touchdown threat, that's really good at the tight end position.
Yeah, I like Doyle. I would have taken him here if you didn't. So I have to go tight end. I'm going to take Jared Cook. Kenny doesn't like him, so he's going to slam me for that one. But I'm not a big Cook guy either, but I like his week 1 matchup against the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers struggled against tight ends last year. The Buccaneers made some upgrades this offseason, or actually it was last season when their cornerbacks got better and Jason Pierre-Paul came back from injury. But they still struggled against tight ends, and I don't think they really did anything to improve that. So I think that Cook could have a good week 1 game, and then I'm just going to play matchups after that. So I have to go defense here. I'm shocked the Colts are on the board. I know you're going to take them. So you sniped Doyle. I'm going to snipe the Colts from you.
That's devastating to me. I was really hoping I was going to get the Colts in all my leagues, but that's okay. I mean, they played the Jaguars week 1. You have to take them.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. So you're on the clock now.
Oh, man, I don't know what the schedule is for any of these. I'm always very unprepared to do defense.
Names the teams. I'll figure out what week 1 is.
I can't even name teams right now. Who are the Chargers? Are Chargers playing the Bengals?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to go with the Chargers then. They got a good pass rush, and I don't trust Cincy's O-line. And Joe Burrow without the preseason, that's a risk I'm willing to take. He might end up doing well, but I think that defense overall is really good, even without Derwin James. They're strong at every level.
Yeah, that's true. I have a feeling that game's going to be 13-10. I don't know who's going to win it, but I think that game's going to be 13-10. I have a feeling. So these picks are kind of irrelevant. Let's do our promo right now. So we're sponsored by Underdog Fantasy. It's an app you can download it in the App Store. Just type in Underdog Fantasy. It is a best ball type of game. So you just make your lineup, and then that's it. You don't have to worry about, or you draft your team. You don't have to worry about making your lineup. You don't have to worry about the sharks. You see it like DraftKings or FanDuel. You're just playing the guys you draft, and you don't have to be concerned with injuries or anything like that. So they have $1 million in prizes in some contests. They have a lot. They have much cheaper contests as well. So they have something for everyone. I can't play it because PA doesn't allow it just yet. It will soon. But you've had a chance to use Underdog Fantasy. Do you want to discuss it for a bit?
Yeah, it's great. It's a whole lot of fun. I'm becoming a bigger fan of best ball because my favorite thing about fantasy is the draft. Setting lineups is fun when you do it in small amounts, but when you do it in big amounts, just everything is frustrating. The beauty of this is you don't have to set a lineup. You get a team of 18 players you can root for, no kickers, no defenses. And you just set yourself up for success during the season. Their app's wicked easy to use. You just go in, you can set your own custom rankings, and you just enter a draft. And as soon as it's filled, you get going. There's 30 seconds per pick drafts. There's also ones where you can do up to an hour a pick. So if you're sitting at work and you have to do some work, you can make your pick, do work, leave your phone out, and then they'll send a notification when it's your turn to pick. You'll have an hour to make a decision. So it's just a really good overall app, and it's a lot of fun. So if you like best ball, I can't recommend it enough.
Nice. So yeah, check that out. Check out Underdog Fantasy in the App Store. Use promo code Walter Football. That's one word, Walter Football. So yeah, definitely do that if you want to help support our show. And I love the use of Wicked there. That was very nice.
I noticed it immediately when I did it. When I lived in North Carolina, I say Wicked a lot around here. But when I moved down there, they were always like, "Oh yeah, you say Wicked," and then so I stopped doing it as much. But I think that's the second time I've ever dropped it on a podcast.
Yeah, but it was the second time. I remember the first time. I remember being surprised because obviously you're from the Boston area. but then I never heard you say it, so I was a little taken aback. But it was fun. I like hearing that the dialect from up there. No, I've never been up there, so maybe one time I'll go up there eventually.
Oh yeah, it's a great city. I mean, we got a pretty crazy accent that I don't have a ton of, but apparently once it was voted the second sexiest accent in America, which I find very hard to believe. But
what was the first? Do you remember?
I don't remember what the first was off the top of my head, but I remember everyone I knew was like sharing that article. I'm like, this seems really bogus. Like, I don't buy this, but I'll have to see if I can find that or if that was just some weird fever dream I made up.
Yeah, that'd be funny. It's always the accent that people don't know that is the sexiest. Like I know American girls think like the French accent is sexy or something, but I've heard that in France they like American accents. Or my best friend Josh, who was my best man at my wedding, he went to Japan for his bachelor party, and he told me that like the Japanese girls like every American guy that he was with there, they're like in love with him, in love with those guys there. So like they just love the American accent. So it's like, I guess it's like wherever you are in the world is as long as you hear something different, it's appealing. I'm a little concerned here because I'm not listed as one of the picks up here. I don't know if I'm gonna draft the kicker or not. I guess we'll find out.
So that is weird.
That'll be suspenseful to close out the draft.
Yeah, that's really, really weird. Also, Kenny just said my accent is very sexy. So thank you, Kenny.
So Kenny is listening. Kenny, do you want to explain why you went Ingram instead of Dobbins? Because you love Dobbins so much. So want to give us an answer for that? And Dennis is on the board, and then you, and then I'm excited to see what happens after Kenny's pick.
It's like I'm wondering if it's just gonna like endlessly not allow you to add a kicker. Like maybe you're banned from kickers.
What if I just can't have a kicker? They know that I do these meme picks with kickers. Anthony Miller just won. That was a great pick. You're on the clock now.
Yeah, I'm trying to pick my kicker. I'm gonna go with the old strategy of dudes who kick it long and go with Matt Prater. Very
nice. I like Prater. It's a dome. Can't go wrong with the dome kicker for sure. Yep. So Kenny's on the clock now, and we'll see if I get the draft. Excited to see this.
Yeah, I wonder who Kenny's going to take. He might take the other kicker I was thinking. I was thinking Younghoe Koo, but I have him in my other league. I don't want too much exposure to the same kicker,
It's true. It's funny that you guys are thinking kickers. I'm just going to I am on the clock. All right, so players available. Let's go to kickers. So I don't really care who my kicker is. I'm going to, I guess I'll do it near the top. All right, I'm going to close my eyes, and whoever I land on will be my kicker. 3, 2, 1. Where is it? This Kai Forbath, is a free agent. Yeah, whatever. I'll take him. I don't care.
That's a good way to do it. The one thing I hate about NFL.com fantasy, like that every time you're picking or at the end of the draft, Roger Goodell yells canned audio at you, and it's really frightening every time.
Yeah, it's very disturbing. The good thing though about being at the turn is that you only hear Goodell once. So I don't know if you knew that, but yeah, that's definitely a perk. It would have been very frustrating to hear Goodell twice. Kenny says, Jacob nailed my thoughts on Ingram, was looking for a safe floor after taking risky early. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. And I think that's right. I think you guys are right that Ingram definitely has a much higher floor than J.K. Dobbins. But once again, I think there is a scenario where Ingram loses his job in the middle of the year. So I don't think it's the most likely scenario, but I think it can happen.
Yeah, I definitely could see that, especially like Gus Edwards. Like people kind of sleep on him as a good backup. So if Ingram did completely fall off, they could roll with Dobbins and Edwards if they needed to. And Justice Hill is still there. So yeah, my dad letting us know that he does listen to these podcasts. That's how he's able to snipe some picks from me. But He doesn't just do it for that reason. He doesn't always listen to me, but when he doesn't listen to me, I get mad. Then when he does listen to me, I get mad.
Either way, you're going to be upset. I guess
Yeah.
I'm lucky my dad isn't into fantasy football. Like I don't even know if he knows what fantasy is. Although he's been getting into DraftKings. I've been trying to get him on that train, but I don't think he knows what regular fantasy is. So I guess it's kind of fortunate that that hasn't happened, because I feel like I'd be like you. I'd be like a little frustrated. Like, Dad, why'd you pick him? Or Dad, why'd you take the player I wanted? So
Yeah.
I think that definitely can happen. And there's Kenny's comment about your accent being very sexy, not just sexy, very sexy. So
yeah, and that's proof I did not make it up. I did not make that comment up.
Yeah. All right. We have a question here: Fuller or Ingram flex PPR? I would go with Fuller. Ingram is not a big time receiver. I don't think he has great upside because he's going to share a ton of touches. Fuller has a lower floor for sure because he can just get injured. But if you have Fuller in your team and he's playing, there's a chance that he's just going to win you the game by himself.
Yeah, I would tend to say Fuller. Like, if you're in a situation where you have a lot of boom or bust guys on your team, I could see a case for going for Ingram just to have a safe floor. But I think Fuller's ceiling is just so high, and like at some point he's got to stay healthy, right? Like, it's got to happen. So maybe it's this year. I might just be overly optimistic because he is on one of my teams. But even if he's not healthy the whole year, if you can get like a handful of games out of him, he'll be a wide receiver 1 for sure.
Yeah. All right. That's about it, guys. That's about it, everyone. So, any final thoughts or anything you wanted to plug?
Yeah, over at Sporting News, we are getting ready to release our week 1 rankings. So head on over to sportingnews.com/fantasy. You'll have all sorts of stuff over there. And I'll be releasing my week 1 DraftKings lineups as well over there. So once I figure out exactly what those are, those will be there. So, and you can follow me on Twitter at Jacob Camenker. Ask me everything you want about NFL fantasy, NFL bets. We're going to be talking about that next week. So yeah, follow me there, ask me questions, and let's talk football.
I'm super excited to do the week 1 NFL picks against the spread next week. I feel like it's been forever, and it seems like the season just kind of snuck up on us because we haven't had a preseason. But yeah, we're going to go over our picks next week. I'm excited to write them up for the site earlier that day, but going to be interesting to discuss it with you, especially considering that we're in a super contest entry together. So there's there's more on the line now than there was last year. So looking forward to it. I'm at waltzerfootball.com or at Twitter at waltzerfootball. So we have tons of fantasy content, fantasy rankings, sleepers, busts, cheat sheets, custom cheat sheets if you want to enter in your league scoring system if it's radically different. So that's all on waltzerfootball.com. Charlie's going to be reviewing the college games that start today. He even has a preview of that, and he has a write-up about some of the difficulties that NFL scouts have had now during the pandemic. So it was a great read. I definitely recommend checking that out. Otherwise, please hit subscribe or the like button. That would help us out a lot. But I will talk to you next week to do our picks.
All right, sounds good. Talk to you then.
All right, bye.